Welcome to Fortune Cookies, and this is day one of this week's series. In honor of Father's Day, I am going to do a 5-part series on famous dads. So today we are going to start with Nicholas II, who decidedly was really great dad, terrible czar. So a little bit of background on Nicholas II. Was born 1868 in May, died July 1918. He was assassinated or liquidated with his entire family as a result of the two Russian revolutions. So was decidedly a great dad, but let's see what kind of dad he was. Let's see what his work-life balance was like. Let's kind of take a little look on the inside. Before we get into that, I just want to note that in the description of the video, there is a link to book your own magical reading with me if you would like. Also, please like, share, and subscribe if this is your first time here. Welcome to all my repeat offenders. Welcome back. Love that you guys are all here, and I hope you enjoy this series. I myself wished my dad a very, very happy Father's Day. We are going to be doing a Father's Day, Mother's Day combo with mine and Gregpedia, my faithful companion. We'll be doing a combo celebration with all of our parents now that we're not sick and we're all in the same state at the same time. So should be pretty cool. We'll do a pretty cool meal, I guess. So let's get started on Nicholas II. So we're going to get our reading screen up. I hope you enjoyed last week's reading. So it's a little bit of a different blocking. I did promise that. I'm upstairs in the living room, and there's my sloppy shuffle right away. So let's take a look at what kind of dad he was. So like I said, Nicholas II was decidedly a fairly good father, but we'll take a look at whether he was strict, whether he was indulgent, and we'll also take a look at his 5 children, how their relationships were with the 5 children. So and also that work-life balance. We're going to get into that. So let's just see what kind of a dad he was. And, he was a fun dad. So by all accounts, the family did have like a pretty good sense of humor. Let me just get some better blocking on this. The family did have a pretty good sense of humor. When you strip away all the politicism of the Russian Revolution and that they were the ruling class and the elite, when you strip all that away, they were like a normal family. So, so I know everybody gets worried about this from Dueling Tarot, but when I get the 7 of Swords in reverse, that means there's no secrets. Nothing is being kept secret. And we have a cat fight happening out on the porch right now. If it's not the kids that are showing up, if it's not Gregpedia lurking behind me, it's the cats having a good time. So we're raven barking. Fun dad, would like to have a good time. Was an active dad. Now, one would think if you were the leader of 1/6 of the planet's landmass, if you were essentially the czar, was, for those of you that don't understand, czar was a little bit more than a king, more of like an emperor, but he was the conduit to God. So there was a religious component to being the czar in Russia, and truly the czar was a conduit to God, and people would not only pray to God, but they would also pray to the czar. So a little bit different from just having a king who was ruling the country. So very, very religious family. Definitely felt in awe of being a parent and that magic of being a parent. He didn't think that he was doing a good job, though. He did not necessarily think that his parenting was ideal, put it that way. But he was hands-on and was really enamored by the mystery of the science of being a parent. Thought that was very, very cool. And also the mystery of being a parent to a hemophiliac child. That was something that he did not feel that he really had a grasp on. Again, those of you that don't know the history, Alexei the Tsarevich was a hemophiliac. So he was stricken with this terrible disease that was handed down from Queen Victoria. We have a little kitty cat up here, and through the genetics on Queen Victoria's side, on the Alexandra, the Empress of Russia, Nicholas II's wife, was handed down through her. So he felt like he wasn't doing quite enough as far as that goes. But all in all, was a cheerful, seems like somewhat indulgent father. So let's see how he was. He had 4 daughters. They would sign collectively, the 4 daughters, any promotional items or items for distribution to the masses, historical items. They would sign it Otma, Otma, and that was for their first initial. There's Olga, Tatiana, Marie, and Anastasia. So they would sign that together. And they were very, very different girls. They were extraordinarily beautiful. You can Google a picture. They were absolutely stunningly beautiful. Let's see how his relationship was with Olga. Olga was the oldest. So his relationship with Olga was there's a bit of push and pull with her, as there would be. She was, the oldest. As she got into her older years, I'm sure it was very difficult to reconcile with, having a teenager young woman in the house, especially add in the component of you have to find her a suitable mate, you have to find her a suitable husband. That's a lot of pressure. I know that there were several trips that they made to meet Olga's suitors, and on one of them, one very famous trip, that all 4 daughters took their hats off and stayed up on the deck of the Standard, the royal ship, and got very tan. It was not vogue to get tan. Coco Chanel was the one who did that. That was a bit later in time, but so they all got very, very tan, and it was considered not very good, very, very low class, not even lowbrow, but just low class. So he had some trouble understanding her reluctance. And very famously, she had said that she did not want to marry outside of Russia. She was Russian and she intended to remain Russian. So definitely a company gal, if you would say. She had her own ideas and she was trying to balance those with her father. And he was trying to be very high-minded about it. He was trying to understand things from her perspective. So let's move on to Tatiana, who was considered a great Russian beauty. And while imprisoned, the Russian men that were handling their incarceration had all commented that she was much more cold and seemed to be much more in charge. She was kind of the mother hen, the substitute mother for Alexandra when Alexandra was not well. And she often took to her bed, the Empress, for a variety of reasons, but we're not reading on her today. We're just reading on Nicholas. So Tatiana absolutely was a second leadership individual. He would have had great confidence in letting her rule Russia, but they'd actually stopped the secession from going to females. There's another historic reason for that. We're not going to go into that right now. But he had a lot of faith in her being an excellent Tsarina. So, but he knew that there was not the support for her. He couldn't make that happen. He wasn't going to change those rules around specifically for her. But she had a great head on her shoulders. He had a lot of respect for how smart she was, and was trying to figure out what her place would be in the scope of the Russian royal family and the history of Russia before the troubles started. So he, very early on understood and had a great respect for her intelligence and her ability to rule. He felt she would have been an excellent ruler given the chance. Given the chance. She's full of good ideas. That's a message that I get through. She was full of good, very, very complimentary. So now we go into Marie. Marie is afraid of the boys. He was very much afraid of her falling in love because there were individuals that she was very attractive. Again, she was very pretty, but it was like she's light in the head is almost what he's saying. She was very emotional, and she was not dumb, but gullible. She was very easily swayed. And he was very much worried about that. He was worried that something would happen to her, especially when when things were getting more dangerous for them. He was very, very worried about her because he was afraid she would just kind of tra-la-la off, and that some sneaky guy. So he was more protective of her, or at least he attempted to be more protective of her with young men. So let's look at Anastasia. He didn't know what to make out of her. He didn't know what to do with Anastasia. She was very, very all over the place. He could not find her gifts. He loved her dearly, but he could not exactly find her gifts that would serve well within the family and within their place in history. He just couldn't figure out where she would belong. One of his concerns was that she was mouthy. She had a lot to say, and she did not. So there was no politics with her. She did not put politics into her language. She did not carefully weigh her words. Say like Tatiana did. Tatiana was very careful about the information that came out when it was information in public. She would discuss things in private with him. Anastasia would just blah. She didn't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you for this reason. She just was very, very blunt and frank and not careful about what she said. And he was concerned that that would cause her and the family in general issues. He was afraid that her mouth would get them into trouble. So that was, something definitely that, and he did not have much control over that. She would not allow herself to be controlled. There's something of a feminist about her. That was one of the things that she would push back with was, she could, and I don't want to say there was a level of androgyny about her, but there was a bit of tomboy, and that's lots of people have said that historically. Lots of accounts have alluded to her being, somewhat tomboyish, but there was something that was, very, very abrupt about her. She just very, very, very feminist. Like a girl can do it too. A girl can do it too. There's no reason why I can't do this. So let's see what we get for Alexei, our little brother. How was his relationship with Alexei? This is indulgence. Oh, and it was heartbreak. So he was very indulgent with Alexei because he knew that they had told him, the doctors had told him that, hemophilia did not portend a long life or an easy life. So he knew that he would not be able to do what he needed to do as the heir to the throne, and carefully guarded him to an excess, which, again, historically, we can see all of those accounts. So if you are unfamiliar with Nicholas II and the Last Tsar of Russia, The Last Tsar is an excellent book. I would highly recommend reading it. Also, Nicholas and Alexandra, another excellent book, a weighty book, a big book that you have to read. The Last Tsar was a translation. It's a Russian translation. So there are some parts that are a little bit awkward in the translation. Nicholas and Alexandra, terrific book, great movie. The mom from the Titanic plays Empress Alexandra. Very, very good movie. It not entirely historically accurate. There's a few parts that stray from the actual real story. So let's take a look at his work-life balance, how he was Tsar versus dad. Were there two characters? We have two characters of Nicholas II. Let's see, work-life balance. Let's do that. Work-life balance. So, work. He wished that he was better prepared to be czar. He was prepared somewhat, but he wished that he was prepared better. He thought, given more time, he could be better at it. He wished that he was more like his father, because that was the legacy that he had wanted to step into. He knew that he was not ready, though, and absolutely was accepting of the judgment, which was the unfortunate revolution that ended with his whole family being murdered. That is where we come in here. As a father, he feels like that is a tremendous failure, that his family was killed. I guess it is. It was outside forces that caused that. He tried to appeal to God and to, he leaned into his religion and his faith to no avail. So in the end, he lost all. That is a big regret on his part. Did he regret not moving them out of the country faster? You regret not moving them out of the country faster? Or did his duty as czar cause that to happen? Heart of the matter. Let's go right in the middle. No, he had a duty. He had to live up to that duty and had to do what he needed to do for Mother Russia. So there we go. That is our first day of Famous Fathers. And I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if this is your first time here, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, in the description down below, you can book your own private reading with me if you'd like. Just use the link and schedule according to your convenience. For tomorrow, you can tune in and we will be doing another famous dad, Ricky Ricardo. I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I will see you then. Have a great day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads.